Let's revisit a mystery poisoning, Tywin Lannister. Tyrion killed Tywin, but was Tywin already dying of poisoning, and if so, who did it? Oberyn Martell or Olenna Tyrell?
You ought to try enjoying something before you die.
The most popular theory is Oberyn, but my bet's on Olenna. First off, the evidence that Tywin was already dying of poisoning. They found him on a privy, which may indicate that his bowels were shutting down, symptoms of either widow's blood or tears of lice. The same poison that Lysa Arryn used to kill her hubby, Lord Jon Arryn, at the start of the story. Tywin's body was rotting, giving the man who never smiles a smile, and his face began turning green. Fissures opened in his cheeks and a foul white fluid was seeping out. But the real clue was the smell. Even though the Silent Sisters took every precaution, removing his bowels and organs, draining his blood, stuffing him with salts and fragrant herbs, his body smelled terrible. People made jokes about the smell, and Cersei thinks they'd never have made japes about him when he was still alive. He would have turned their bowels to water with a look. Interesting choice of words, George. Turning bowels to water. Symptoms of the two aforementioned poisons. The smell was bad though. Tommen smelt it, Cersei smelt it, Jaime smelt it, Lord Giles smelt it, Marjorie smelt it. The Septons who do this for a living were even grossed out. Everyone smelt it, but who dealt it, Oberyn or Olenna?
I hear you studied poisons at the Citadel.
I did.
And he's used poison twice, once on Lord Ironwood back in the day.
When I was a boy of 16, a great lord caught me with his mistress. He should have been honored.
And more recently, on the mountain. Oberyn certainly had the motive to kill Tywin.
What did you discuss?
The death of my sister.
For which you blame me.
She was raped and murdered by the mountain. The mountain follows your orders. Of course I blame you.
Oberyn came for a confession.
Who gave you the order? Who gave you the order?
So maybe he poisoned Tywin ahead of his duel in case he died. There's a line in the books that might suggest this, but probably not for 3 reasons. First, afterwards, the Sand Snakes wanted to go kill Tywin, so there was no indication that Oberyn had planned on poisoning Tywin. At least if he had, he did not tell his children. Second, if he poisoned Tywin, there would be no confession, and Oberyn and Doran worked more closely than anyone knew, including the Sand Snakes. Last, Oberyn was very confident that he would win.
You're going to fight that?
I'm going to kill that.
Moreover, Oberyn poisons people with his spear, no other way.
To kill a man at his table or in his bed bores me. How life begins is always entertaining, and my kind must make sure its end is worth our wait.
So it is unlikely that Oberyn poisoned Tywin secretly. That's just not how he rolls. Olenna, on the other hand, does do that. She poisoned Joffrey. And it can be argued that she poisoned her husband as well, the late Lord Luther Tyrell, who died in a strange hunting accident that has the same feel as King Robert's tragic end.
Hunting and drinking don't mix. I should say not.
Olenna Tyrell looked down on men, so wouldn't it be poetic if Olenna took out Tywin, the male version of herself? Their families were aligned at face value, but Olenna and Tywin sat across the chessboard from one another. Olenna tried to marry Sansa to her son Willis, but Tywin found out. So Tywin married Sansa, the key to the north, to Tyrion. And Tywin wanted to marry Cersei to Willis Tyrell, but Olenna sabotaged this, claiming Cersei was too old.
Please, Tywin's dead. That means no one can force Cersei to marry me.
In short, Olenna and Tywin went head-to-head in the Game of Thrones. They are the male and female versions of one another, and the Tyrells would never have true power while Tywin lived. So Olenna had motive too. But here are the 2 clues that seal the deal for me. First, a George R.R. Martin type clue. It's very subtle. After they find Tywin's dead body, Cersei runs over to Jaime and asks, "Did you find the killer? How many were there?" Surely there had to be more than one. One man alone could not have killed her father, hinting that Tywin was killed by 2 people. He was effectively dead once Olenna poisoned him, and then Tyrion shot him. Second, the Rains of Castamere. We know that Olenna poisoned Joffrey, and at Joffrey's wedding, right before she poisoned him, Olenna was keen to hear them play The Rains of Castamere, a song about Tywin destroying House Rain. It was almost a nod to Tywin like, "Hey, 2 can play that game, my lord." Later on, at Tywin's funeral, Olenna rubbed in the smell, asking Cersei, "Mayhaps you smelled it too?" "No," Cersei said coldly. "A scent, you say?" "More like a stink." Oh, vicious. And then, at Tommen's wedding, which happens right after Tywin's funeral, Olenna complained when the bard did not play The Rains of Castamere. This second reference to the song might be a clue that the alpha cat of all alpha cats poisoned a second Lannister.
It's done.
It is.
And now the rains weep o'er our halls.
It's worth noting, Cersei gets hated on for being dumb, but she is the only person to suspect the Tyrells were behind the murders of Joffrey and Tywin. She was wrong. Mace Tyrell was not involved because Olenna looked at him and all males as oafs.
Not now, Mace. Lord Tywin and I are speaking.
And yet the world belongs to them. A ridiculous arrangement in my mind.
But she was on the right track. They found a coin in Rugen's cell, which may have even implicated Varys in this poisoning plot. Remember, Rugen was Varys' secret identity as a jailer, and they found this special coin under his chamber pot, furthering the link to a poison that would hit Tywin's bowels. Plus, Jaime thinks the blood is on Varys' hands as much as mine, but the words that come out of his mouth are, the blood is on Varys' hands as much as Tyrion's. So Littlefinger helped Olenna kill Joffrey, but Varys may have helped her kill Tywin, and Cersei was the only one to get close to this. In the show, Cersei gets revenge, taking out every single Tyrell, including Olenna, with poison, something that has been foreshadowed in the books. So there are foul fruits and poisonous flowers blooming all around Olenna's subplots. One that doesn't get much attention, though, is Tywin. The smell may have just been symbolic. Few people like Tywin.
Do you know why all the world hates a Lannister? You think your gold and your lions and your gold lions make you better than everyone.
He was a bad person, a really bad person. He stunk. And this smell symbolism occurs throughout the story. When Arya gets to Harrenhal, she could tell that Lord Tywin had been there for some time because of the smell. His horse dropped a deuce in the throne room, and at his wake, a crow perched on the statue of King Baelor and dropped one onto his holy head. So the repugnant smell may have just been symbolic, or it may have been a sign that Olenna Tyrell, the Queen of Thorns, got the last laugh against her male rival, Sir Tywin of House Lannister.
I always take figs mid-afternoon. They help move the bowels.
My stomach remains quite strong, however.
I didn't trust your father.
I've known a great many clever men. I've outlived them all.
And what better time to do it than when Oberyn was around to take the fall?
But if the mountain killed my sister, your father gave the order.
The Tyrells and the Martells have no love for one another. Olenna Tyrell may have used widow's blood or tears of lice. Both poisons hit the bowels. Regardless, in the end, everyone found out that Tywin Lannister did not shit gold.